HMG Hamin Army. It's me, that R to the B to the V, Richard Bronson Vickrey, getting things going. Yes, a special 1 p.m. I'll say it again, 1 p.m. Who needs that 8:30 a.m. BS? No, 1 p.m. Eastern here. Special start time, Monday locker room. Hey, baby, we did it. We survived. We survived the marathon, not just WrestleMania Sunday, WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania week. Hey, we have got so much to speak on. And we have got a lot to cover from the headlines and happenings at this showcase of the Immortals. And oh, yeah, there's some business news. Yes, business news. Mania mergers that we have got to cover here. Again, very special afternoon start time, Monday locker room. Hey, I've been thinking about this. I kind of, we usually go, what, an hour, 2 hours? How the hell am I going to cover this thing by myself? But hey, we're going to sell that. I'm going to need your help over in the chat. Hey, like, share, bring as many people in as you can. We're going to be reading your comments for the next couple hours here, talking all things WWE and WrestleMania.
Baby, the dingo
we're
ate your
looking
baby.
for. What? What the hell is that?
Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen, up there on the stage. Joining us, you were not planned to be here all the way from down under. Jimmy T from the PWC. What the hell are you doing here, sir?
Oh, that's what I'm wondering. I was actually quite chuffed at hearing the national anthem, the Australian national anthem, Rick. So I'm actually honored to be on the Monday Locker Room, dude.
Well, WrestleMania, it's all about that international flavor. And we saw some heavy hitters from around the globe. I know you want to jump into all of this, Jimmy T. Hey, you know what? Hey, this is just like Raw after Mania, right? You never know who's going to show up. Hey, it's going to be me and you, I guess.
The Vets. He's a Rip Rogers guy. The Vet. Vet. Rip Rogers guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the vet is here, making a special appearance from Light. No, not Light the Fuse. Where I'm at here, I'm all confused. We've got so many surprises coming in here. Next level, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, great to have a pro vet. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I only get invited to the Monday locker room when Ben's on vacation, so I got to make my yearly appearance, right? So.
Hey, he's been getting more and more vacation time around here. I think we should get one of these every 3 months.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, he has been on the record of saying you're the only other person on our platform, and hell, maybe all professional wrestling that scares the death out of him when he has to go toe-to-toe with you on the show.
Maybe that's why. Well, that's all right. I'm busy holding out his undisclosed West Coast installation here. So if you hear the choppers or the attack dogs outside, just don't pay any mind to that. Just know that we're taking care of HMG business on the West Coast. Jimmy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm just happy to be right here on the Monday Locker Room with the both of y'all talking WrestleMania and the big one, guys, the sale. I mean, I can't believe it's then now Endeavor.
Both of you, I thought I was going to be out here on the microphone by myself. The two of you joining. Thank you guys so much. Now what the hell? What do we got now?
Oh, no.
What the hell is this?
Going down south, but gonna leave my woes behind.
Oh.
OMG. Back on the HMG. It's MSG. Suck my balls, baby. What a run and what a surprise.
What's going on, guys? I'm your host in the heat, and I can't be beating you guys high where the air is dry. Your boy, MSG. Yeah, what's going on, guys? I actually watched WrestleMania this year. First time in like 3 years. Both days. And I was just, texting Rick this morning. I was like, oh, you're going by yourself? Well, that'll be a good show. I'm looking forward. He said, well, why are you rolling in? Okay, well, here I am. So it's a pleasure to be here. First time. Hold on. First time I need to recognize the greatness here on this podcast. This is the first time I've ever been on a podcast with the vet. So, sir, I tip my hat to you. Thank you for taking over this show and this whole platform itself when it comes to professionals.
Yes, well, it's the least I can do, even though we have been on a podcast together. If you don't remember, I was on Light the Fuse with you before you left. So
I was high, so I probably don't.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I was lighting the fuse.
Second time ever on a podcast with the vet.
Well, I'll remember it. And then, of course, it's me, Jimmy T. I've never done a podcast, but we've talked, messaging. Good to see you, buddy.
Oh, we've spoken plenty of times, but yeah, I'm even more pumped now that we're doing a show for the first time, MSG, man. It's an absolute pleasure, man. It's a long time coming, that's for sure. Absolutely.
And Rick Vickrey, what's up, asshole?
Hey, I was thinking about when we were talking this morning. You said it's been a couple years since you've watched the WrestleMania. I think that was maybe the last show that we had maybe done together was the COVID WrestleMania, the two-nighter, the first two-nighter. Me, you, and Jargo. Hey, welcome back to the WWE Universe, MSG. Welcome back.
With open hearts.
We've got a lot to cover here, gentlemen. Tons to cover from WrestleMania itself, some of the build, the storylines going in, coming out of it, as we look from a character standpoint. But I think to get things going here, we want to talk about the big news, the big happenings, the rumors, the rumblings started yesterday. It looks like this bad boy has been made official. Endeavor, better known out there to many as the parent company of UFC, is going to purchase WWE. They're going to finalize this thing on the back end of 2023. Look for it to go official in 2024 as they both join forces here, and everything kind of joins forces. WWE getting absorbed into this conglomerate under a new publicly traded company. It's been a long time happening. These headlines, we had all the rumors. It was Disney in the works here, Comcast, Universal, and this company really comes out of nowhere. This Endeavor vet. I want to go to you first on this thing. You've been inside the belly of the beast with OVW, the development system. You've seen people that have come and gone from the top there. You've seen the business workings. Did you really ever see this day coming?
No, I didn't, because when you have such an egomaniacal person in charge of something that he, most people will say that he, this is his baby, he built from the ground up, even though he really just sort of weirdly bought it from his dad and some weird shit. But anyway, never mind that. But most people will just always associate Vince with this thing, and if anything about him, you're like, why would he ever want to relinquish any control, especially with all the stories that we've heard over the years of the micromanagement and things that he's always got his hands in everything, even when it really doesn't need his input or help. He's just always doing stuff like that. And to think that somebody like that would ever be comfortable, just you would think he'd take it to the grave with him, just like an Egyptian pharaoh that would get like buried, entombed with their living slaves and pets and other things. Like, you just no. I'm going, I'm not going down with the ship. The ship's going down with me, basically, is how you've always imagined it going. And at best, you would think it would just stay in the family. Like, when I'm gone, my son or my daughter or my son-in-law, they'll take over. We all just kind of assume that. And so to see him relinquishing, any aspect of control is quite frankly bizarre to me. And I didn't think that this day would ever come. I also, after hearing all the rumors of things, I didn't think it would ever come, simply because who the hell would overpay for this shit product? Like, I said it multiple times on HMG shows. Who the fuck wants to buy this? That's what I'm thinking. It just seems like you'd be, to hear that somebody does actually want to pay for it, that's shocking in and of itself. And then somebody actually paying for it, actually over what they asked, what was the number, RBV? What was the final number for the sale?
9.8 is what is out there right now, Vince.
9.8?
Vince wanted the thing at 9. He wanted it at 9. I've seen 9.3 to 9.8. So floating around in that area there, absolutely, as you said. I mean, where are they coming up with the value? And I guess, it is so many of us had speculated that maybe Vince was just highballing individuals, hoping that the Saudi backing would just jump in with all the money in the world and just would just gobble it up at any price here. But this endeavor really comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Jimmy T, let me ask you. We get the vets, perspective there. Someone's been inside the belly of the beast. You as a talking head, more on that fan side. What was your thought when you see this, that it's finally really going to happen?
I got to admit, guys, I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought Vince McMahon was pretty much just playing hardball, but really it's over his dead body. But no, apparently he's done it, and it is a done deal. But something tells me, Rick, that Endeavor got swerved here, man. I feel like the stock price for WWE is going to drop soon. I mean, the contracts are coming up for Raw and SmackDown very soon also. And what happens with pay-per-view? Are we going to get pay-per-view once again? Or are we going to stick to this model with Peacock and whatever else and whatever other deals WWE have worldwide? I mean, that's what I'm really intrigued about right now. And does Triple H keep his spot?
It does look like from the business perspectives of this thing, everyone's just thinking when you hear the merger that they're coming together. When you look at somebody like UFC and WWE, they're going to stay as their own respective companies. Their headquarters are going to be in the same area. Their structure is still going to be there. The WWE board will be restructured. There'll be 11 members on the committee with Vince leading that. There'll be 5 chosen, that were from WWE side, 6 for Endeavor. So they will hold that power. The current guy, that's over Endeavor, was it Emmanuel? He will be the president of it. But a lot of those people are still going to be in charge, and Khan's going to still be the CEO of WWE. Nice little bonus for him. He signed on for a $10 million bonus once this thing gets settled. Don't worry about Triple H too. He has been written in there for a $5 million bonus once everything gets settled. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of people think they're immediately just like coming together, like when in wrestling immediately we want to go what we're familiar that this is going to be something like an esque of like WCW and WWE back in the day, but they're all going to be completely different entities. And Endeavor has, dozens of different holdings. A few that really jump out to me here. One that was just kind of funny. They obviously got UFC, but they have the Bull Riding Association, and they have esports.
Oh,
wow! Now MSG. From your professional background in the world of entertainment, you do production to television and all that. How big is this for the industry to see WWE kind of being consumed by such a conglomerate?
Yeah, I was pondering that this morning. Jimmy T was bringing up some good questions from the business perspective, because that was one of my first things when it came to from a live event perspective, right? Are they going to package everything now under one umbrella when they go to networks like ESPN, NBC for these premium live events? Are we going to see an increased amount of premium live events so that way they can get back their ROI a lot faster, such as how UFC does those like weeklies, these weekly events every fucking week, right? Are we going to start seeing house shows recorded? Is that going to be something that's going to be part of the package, because content is king right now? From a financial perspective, I'm interested to see how UFC fighters respond to it. How are you going to respond? You go out into the ring, you get your ass kicked, and you make no money, to where a guy who's making more money in WWE now, when it's more of an entertainment aspect versus the physical aspect of putting your body through. Not that there isn't any physical aspect of wrestling, night after night, but that argument is going to be made that I deserve to be paid more. This is a $21 billion company. What do you mean I'm still making X amount? So I think it'll probably impact it that way. From a distribution rights, I don't know. It depends. Like I said, are they going to package it all under one deal, or is it more profitable at this time to continue to keep it separate for the distribution rights? If they're proposing they're hoping, Khan is saying they're going to get 2x back the value as far as how much they got back last time. So they expecting to get $2 to $3 billion this time. Why would you split that up? So there's a lot of questions to remain. I think realistically, though, we're going to have to wait to see how it plays out over the next couple of years. Because I'm more interested on the Vince McMahon stuff. Like, he's got a 2-year contract with Endeavor. What happens when that 2-year contract ends? Is this a way to get Vince out slowly on his own terms, and save face with the fans and the stockholders? A lot of interesting questions.
If anything, Endeavor now they got 2 top dogs for their combat sports, where one top guy is slapping the shit out of his wife, the other one's got NDAs out the wazoo.
That's crazy.
Vet, again, as I was looking at the different holdings that they have, this one jumped out for me is if they can remain separate entities, but there could be a lot of cross activity between these different brands that they have. And I'm seeing a ton of potential for outreach, growing your audiences on each side with this esports that Endeavor has their hands on. I know you're a big gamer.
You know what's funny? On NXT, they had some chick that's like doing a gimmick where what's her name?
Streamer?
Stevie something. Stevie, not Stevie Richards. Stevie Turner. Stevie Turner. Yeah, she was doing a gimmick where she was like supposedly like a streamer or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm looking at the way they're doing it, and I'm like, man, this is such like an old, out of touch person's idea of something that a younger person explained to them being put on television. Like, why wouldn't you get somebody that actually has charisma and then just pay them to stream like for real, like all the time? Like you could, like any other normal streamer schedule, right? Like you could just have her doing that and then have wrestle matches on TV, but the rest of the week, you know, when she's not training or doing whatever, then she's just streaming on Twitch, streaming on YouTube, you know, like building that character and getting people into her as a streamer. So then they tune into wrestling to see her. Like, they picked the wrong person for it. I think it was one of those cases of trying to shoehorn somebody into a gimmick that they're not good at. But that's something that they could have done. And that's something that many wrestlers had turned to as alternative forms of income, you know, to make up for, you know, if you're independent, for the dates that you're not able to get, or if you're in WWE for the time that you just have downtime because they're not really using you. So you saw WWE like clamp down on that. Like, nope, we want our piece of that too. But yeah, if you've got an esports thing, it's like not a question of events having to reach out to try to get celebrities to come to their thing. Now it's just more like, oh yeah, you're going to this thing. We signed you up for it. And now you're going to go appear at this, you know, League of Legends tournament in some Middle Eastern country now. Just how things are. So that could be a big avenue that we haven't really seen integrated. I'm more interested in the integration of, like, personally for me, I've been advocating for many, many years that if pro wrestling's tried everything else, and we've seen how it's sort of dwindled in popularity at times, if the one thing they haven't tried is trying to get a little bit more closer to a sports presentation, the way things like UFC or any of the other major NFL, MLB, the way they present the broadcasts and things. So it would be nice to see them trying something that could like bring fake phony wrestling more in line with, like, you know, the UFC style of presentation and fights, so that if there is crossover, like when MMA stars try pro wrestling or something like that, it's not as ridiculous. Like, we can't have these Bray Wyatts anymore, but like we can get just like a little bit more realistic presentation. It's still always going to be wrestling, but you know what I mean, right? Like I think I'd like to see that come out of this.
I like the characters and the stories.
I didn't say you don't have characters and stories. I didn't say that,
Jimmy.
I was just going to say that I think that was indicative, right, of the WrestleMania pre-show they did all week, and that was setting up that sports style presentation where you've got these big time news anchors and celebrities from Stephen A. Smith to all these different talent boxers coming on. So they're trying to set up that professional sports style presentation. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh no, I was going to say you're right. Actually, MSG man, they have been sort of doing the more sports orientated presentation lately, and that's what sort of drives me nuts. WWE can't have it both ways. I mean, you know, sports entertainment, sports, they're just entertainment and whatnot, but really they're sort of coming out like they're a sport per se. But in saying that, I think we will get a more sort of serious presentation. I know exactly what Vent meant. Like, we're still going to have characters and whatnot, but I think there's going to be a little more realism moving forward, and hopefully they do that. But if it's the same people in charge in WWE, then I'm not sure if much is going to change anyway, but we'll see. But you know what's funny? Isn't Endeavor, the actual company, really, isn't the money coming from China?
Yeah, they have a ton of partnerships and investments from over in that area.
Well, the main investments is from China.
Probably Tencent. They're the largest, biggest thing out there.
Yeah.
Hey, I do what, you know, what Vet was mentioned, you know, can WWE use these new partnerships, these allies that they have under this umbrella to, you know, maybe influence their presentation, their direction? And actually, I want to flip the coin and ask you, I know your creative mind, And again, with that production, video background and all that, I find this kind of incredible here. Other sports organizations, okay, everybody in the chat, I know sports, if you will, but they have Diamond Baseball Holdings, which is involved with minor league baseball. Of course, UFC, which we're talking about. They have professional bull riding. They have the Euro League basketball. And again, they have the E-League. Is there opportunity for those or outside sports to use what WWE, what is so special about professional wrestling and their production and their presentation to add value to what they're bringing to those different platforms?
Maybe. And I say maybe because Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics has reported yesterday that the plan is to actually separate UFC from that umbrella and merge it with WWE into a new company, being the fact that Endeavor took on so much debt, right? As far as, so yes, they're going to be technically under the same umbrella of a global organization, but I don't know if there's much crossover that's going to happen with esports and wrestling. I could see the bull riding stuff. That seems to be more that live event type, same crowd niche you can maybe market to. Younger kids, though, hanging out in front of their computer playing video games, I don't know how much crossover you're going to get to them to watch, unless you have, like the vet suggested, a streamer who's in that community, that's part of that community itself, representing them. So,
well, I guess, the first one comes to mind is like Xavier Woods, who has had great success with his online gaming.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Good.
I think that's
a good question here. Dan Hupp brings up any thoughts on if the independent contractor status or insurance will change now. I think that's a lot of, the details that we're going to have to see later on. I really wouldn't believe that Endeavor wants to start paying all that out there, but kind of play that in some things that will change for those contractors. Right now in Denver, they do allow like the UFC talents and some of the other through their talent agencies that they're. I think that's another good point here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 talent agencies under their umbrella as well, which could mean a lot for the talents here that are looking for crossover opportunities. But Endeavor also allows on those other platforms talents to go out there and earn income with outside platforms. Remember, if you recall, the huge debate with WWE, if they were allowed streaming, using their Twitch channels, whatever the case might be. Most recently, the biggest one with Mandy Rose, which was such a big deal with her dismissal, whatever the case might be. So that could be some opportunities. Vet, your thoughts on? Go ahead, Edwin.
I just wanted to, before you get to the vet, you bring up a good point, right? UFC has sponsored type gear that all of their fighters wear. Are WWE wrestlers going to have to start putting logos of corporations on their gear? Sorry, go ahead, vet.
Oh, we'll get into sponsorships. What was the question, RBV? I'm sorry.
Well, do you see that as potentially? Is that going to be more enticing for the WWE talents? Is it something that you see that Vince just tries to keep away from his branch of this new partnership? What would the talents be thinking here now that they have a potential to utilize these outside platforms where WWE was preventing that in the past?
Just like anything, I think the people that are inclined to do it will take advantage of it, and the people that don't care won't. I personally think that you can't. Well, it's not really like a hot take or a personal opinion. Independent contractors are independent contractors. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either they're allowed to work for whoever they want, or they're contracted to your company. So if you tighten up on what people are allowed to do, then that means that they should be employees. They should get paid insurance, the health, and all the benefits of being an employee. If you're signed to the WWE, otherwise. The WWE needs to start looking into the idea of leasing guys and then letting them go when they've gotten their run out of them, but not locking them down to like 5-year contracts. More like, how about a 5-month contract? Like, hey, well, I'll do business with you for 5 months and then you can go off. And that will bring in the opportunity to have a lot more like crazy surprise appearances and dream matches and stuff. Because you see every other company except WWE is working with each other. So what if WWE now is folded into that? So you can have the matches for the shows that you want, and then you don't have to worry about keeping them around and figuring out what to do with them with the creative team. Just bring in a guy from AEW to run a program with Roman Reigns or whatever, and then go back. Like it would really help everybody, I think, to do that. But then on top of that, you have all the other outside opportunities and projects, sponsorships, your own, any way that you can make a living for yourself and grow your brand, which in turn brings eyes to the bigger brands. I mean, it only makes sense. And this is one of those things, like, it's Vince McMahon's iron grip is the only thing that's preventing all this from happening. Like, he's the one that had to have that absolute control. And everybody else has been like, yeah, I guess wrestlers are independent contractors. That's how the territory system worked. That's how the entire business was built for 100 years before Vince Jr. ever took control of anything. And he's the only one that shut it down. So if we can get him out of the way, maybe we can get like a true territory system, but with big companies now, like the AEWs, the Impacts, the New Japans, the, whatever.
I will say this though about what you just said, Vet. Though, sorry guys, I just wanted to chime in quickly. First of all, UFC and WWE are very similar when it comes to working with other companies. They don't want to work with anyone else other than just take over. UFC have done that over the years. WWE have also done that over the years. So I'm not sure if there's going to be any sort of crossover with, say, AEW or New Japan and whoever. But also when it comes to their sponsorships, didn't WWE buy Tap Out at one stage, if you remember, and the wrestlers were forced to wear Tap Out at one stage, and UFC right now is contracted with Venom. So yeah, that makes things kind of interesting.
Well, gentlemen, we're talking some MMA, UFC, some pro wrestling, what it means when those worlds come together. We're talking about big dollars, big dollars.
Before you get into it, can we just comment on how Vince McMahon looked?
Here we go.
He's already on the way.
You can't
He
stop
ain't
him.
here to blow out quads. He is here to stack banks. He is making the casino tap out, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess. Oh,
The handicapper extraordinaire. Hey, we promise all this.
Unmute yourself, Josh. Unmute yourself.
It was getting loud in here. I had to mute it. Sorry,
Yeah, I
I apologize.
There
That
we
intro was getting me hyped.
Gentlemen, Hartnett in the house. Glad you could make it for this part of the conversation. And you said you were hot on this one, man. Big news all around. We can kind of kick around. Hopefully, we were able to listen up. We were on your business call, and you say, hey, maybe both sides were calling you. How are we going to?
The business was regarding the business. You know what I mean? So it's all good business. So big stuff coming up this week, and it's gonna be interesting to find out the intricate details of what's going on behind the scenes. But those wheels are already turning, and we'll see what happens. But I would imagine if they're combining the stock, that like one of the big things that nobody's even talking about for MMA right now, but I'm well aware of because some people are retarded and like they get press passes and whatever because they're groupies. But if they were actually smart, they'd be asking questions about the TV deals and the TV rights for ESPN with the UFC coming up to an end here in December, and nobody's asked the question about it once. Here you are, you're knocking it. You're just 7-8 months away from you better have something locked up or you're going to be, SOL. And I think it's obvious that ESPN doesn't have the money, especially with the budget cuts they're going through over there at that company right now, where they're going to be getting rid of people left and right here with layoffs because they're spending too much money. They spend a lot of money on the UFC product. I don't see them maintaining the UFC product for what they're paying it. I don't see UFC taking it any kind of cuts anywhere when their product's worth more now than it's ever been. And especially when they're going to combine here under one umbrella with Endeavor, I could imagine both TV rights being leveraged against multiple companies. And I wouldn't rule out even still the Saudis being a thing here where everything could be sold to them here in a package deal inside of the year. I don't think everything's over yet. And I think once the dust settles, I think a lot of money's going to change hands, and that's a good thing. It's always a good thing, when things like this happen in terms of just being at the top of the mountain.
That's
you're
an
going to get paid.
interesting point. Is this a snowball effect? As Jimmy T brought up, China's got a lot of money behind this Endeavor.
they do, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Umbrella.
They're the main money
Is this a
marks.
potential bundle package somewhere else?
And with that,
but you are right, Hartnett. They are going to TKO in 2024 for the stock exchange.
Yeah. So and so your rights for ESPN end in December of 2023 for the UFC, and they haven't announced an extension.
ESPN, MSG.
Yeah.
MSG.
I was going to say, with the bundle package deal, what interests me about that is how much money can they get for both, both companies' content, and does this parlay potentially into just going ahead and starting your own streaming service once again, like an all combat professional wrestling network, and then just pushing it that way? You've already got the infrastructure. You've got WWE Network still sitting there on the back burner. It's not like they can't just bring that back and put it all under one shiny umbrella, new present to give to, subscribers. That's where I'm thinking that it'd be kind of like a last ditch effort if they can't get those rights right.
Yeah, I think if you just spent how much was the final number? 9.3, right? And then I believe they said the estimated value of UFC is around 13 billion right now, right? So they're not going to take less than, 25 billion. I would think even is a low ball for them. They're going to want like 40 billion, I would think, somewhere around there, maybe even higher. But that's where somebody like a Saudi, group could come in and pay that without blinking an eye. What they're going to want for TV rights and things like that, bro, like I know what they're paid for the UFC right now, and it's very good, and they're not going to take less than that, and they're not going to, especially with the way Endeavor just turned UFC around from buying it for $4.5 billion to basically tripling its worth here inside of just the last couple of years. It's pretty impressive, and I don't think they're going to take it on as a losing asset. I think they're going to try to turn out as much money as possible with this. I think a lot of the crossover is going to happen if they do maintain control of the business, because they're an entertainment company and they get it. Even with the way they stack their celebrities ringside at all these UFC events, every time I go, I'll turn around, I'm like, boom, oh, hey, hi, Jared Leto, you weirdo. Like, why are you so close to me? Why do you smell so weird? Like they're all over the place, but they're there because these people are Endeavor agent like talent. So they're given tickets, they're sent out there, makes it a bigger deal. You'll see it at the UFC. I'm sure now you'll start seeing it even more at WWE, where they'll get these higher named celebrities, ringside, get them into, acts, cross them over whatever way. Especially you're going to maybe even see more people crossing over to movies and things like that, because the power that Ari Emanuel has throughout the entertainment industry is no joke.
Yeah, WWE, right? The big agency.
He is Ari Gold from Entourage. He's the guy who the character is based off of.
Well,
legit.
But we were just running down, their holdings and the resume, what they got on their platform. We just said it was like 6 to 8 just talent agencies that they have. You're talking about that celebrity involvement. So I think that is the perfect transition as we're trying to move and groove here this week. Special afternoon start time with the Monday locker room. But yeah, let's go ahead and switch those gears. Let's start talking about the big reason that we're here, looking back at the greatest stage of them all, the spectacle of spectacles, the 2-night WWE WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. And Hart, you were talking celebrities, man. They were all over WWE programming this weekend. They were in the stadium all over the place, even if they weren't featured in spots here. Truly, WrestleMania each and every year is a spectacle. They have to up the ante each and every time out. Now, how are they going to get bigger than Dallas? But you got to come big. You're going to Hollywood here. I want to start with you on this, MSG. I mean, kind of, talk about what it takes to put into this from, the production side of this thing, to cover all, everything that's happening just to create such a grand illusion.
It's unfathomable to even go into detail how much it takes to put into this. Even, I can tell you just from a mid-size level, doing concerts and production events like that as well. I mean, over 2-3 day festivals, I can't imagine the amount of production staff, and as far as everybody that's involved to put this on, all the contingency plans, I'm sorry, that are in place, right? If something goes wrong, this match goes wrong. I'm sure everyone complained about the long commercial break there at the end. I'm sure that was part of it. If something happens in a match, we're just going to roll more commercial breaks to fill time. It's just that's how the television network works. So from a production standpoint, it was awesome. You can tell, you got to give hats off to every guy and gal back there who probably work 10 to 12 hours or more a day, just doing one specific job just to make sure that the show went out without a hitch, no problems. There really wasn't any technical errors throughout the whole broadcast on both days. So kudos to them. Yeah, but yeah, it's immeasurable. I mean, this is why it takes them, a year itself, right, to set up these WrestleMania events and put everything together, because no stone is left unturned when putting together I think he said both combined over the weekend did $21 million, Triple H said last night, in revenue. So, I mean, to bring in that much revenue over the course of the weekend at the gate, you got to be putting on something that's Super Bowl level, and they did.
Now, Vet, you obviously WrestleMania on such a grand scale, you think something along the lines of the Super Bowl, Olympics, if you will. But you've been behind the scenes, man. You know how hectic it is. I mean, what is the pressure on this production team to bring together such an incredible, just visuals and audios, and really, I mean, it's what steals the show. Each and every WrestleMania is the production. Can you talk a little to that and just your experiences that you've been, how hectic it might be, and then times whatever for WrestleMania?
Yeah. So the WrestleMania I was at was the what was it, 23 in Detroit? 23. And so I had to. I'm not going to get into a long story because we're trying to move things along, but I did have to go.
Were you there as a fan or on?
No, I was backstage. I had to be on stage for the Undertaker entrance thing, but I was backstage all day, so I was just kind of wandering around, and a lot of the wrestlers were pretty. They was pretty calm and casual. Ric Flair and his gear and a t-shirt, drinking a coffee, stuff like that. It's just no big deal. But there was, for one reason or another, like I said, I'm going to shorten the story, but I had to actually kind of go behind the curtain at one point to pick up like a fax or something. And they're like, just seeing this one area, like there's so many people looking so busy and working so hard and not having time for anything. Just in this one little area that I had to walk into, while all the wrestlers are just chilling out, like in catering, you know what I mean? And kind of slightly going over their match, just Donald Trump talking to Shane McMahon, like, yeah, I'll do this thing, just like all that, everybody's cool. But then all the people like that nobody knows who they are busting their ass to make WrestleMania happen. They kept playing like that John Cena Dodge Viper pre-tape. Like they were like trying to get it. They were editing it. It seemed like in real time. Like they were trying to get it ready to play, for the main event and stuff like that. So those people, it's very hectic for them. For the talent themselves, they might feel a little bit of pressure, but really, when I was there, oddly enough, this is going to sound really arrogant, but it felt like just another day. Like any locker room, small, big, whatever, everybody seemed like pretty, yep, we got a show to do. But everybody else, like the production people that don't get recognized and stuff, they were really, really on top of everything.
Now, Jimmy T, you're one of those wrestling purists, and we got the Frank's Piccobrello comment here. He hates Hollyweird celebrities in wrestling, and is that traditional, that old school down under SOB, man. How do you feel about all the celebrity involvement?
I mean, I understand why they do it in the first place, why they bring in all the celebrities. I mean, let's be honest, they've been doing that all the way since back at WrestleMania 1. I'm cool with it. Look, this year it might have been a bit of an overload because it was in Hollywood, obviously. But look, I'm all right with it. As long as they're used in the right context, I've got no problem with it.
Yeah, it's they're growing the brand, especially in Hollywood. You want to have the celebrities out there with you. Joe, we'll go around and ask a few of you about some of the involvement, and I think the big one, we'll kind of blend these together in transition from celebrity to special attractions, if you will. Vet, I'll start off with you on this one. Coming back, his second WrestleMania, we get Pat McAfee. He makes a surprise entrance here as he confronts the host of WrestleMania, The Miz. We also get Kettle from the San Francisco 49ers. These guys do it for you. McAfee continuing to get better and better with every time out here. He's getting those pops, growing with everybody. What'd you think there?
I guess it's just making The Miz look like a jabroni. How does that make you feel? RBV, I want to ask you that because hometown guy. How do you feel seeing the Miz just relegated to this kind of a joke? You cool with that or not?
Well, I'm just happy, somebody like Pat McAfee who has so much charisma and all that, and really untapped potential that the great state of Ohio could give him the rub like that. That someone of the Miz's caliber could elevate him. So that's the key point there. We had those guys night one interacting with the Miz. MSG, my music man. I'll start with you on this one. Let's get to the big one here. The man working on the fly. Special attraction, surprise entrance. We get Shane O'Mac. He is back, blowing out that quad. And now all this praise. Triple H put him over in the presser. So many wrestlers I see on my timeline putting him over here. Fans picked up on it. But Snoop Dogg, although he might be the most unathletic individual that I've ever seen crossover from entertainment into pro wrestling, he was smart enough to go on the fly and pick up that match and get the moment for WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I guess, entertaining. To the vet's point, I was like, oh, we're going to come out here and we're going to squash the Miz again. I mean, because that's what they did the night before. So I definitely wasn't excited to see what happened. I found it obviously interesting when Shane went down, and then you're in that moment of like, I've been in those situations, whether been in theater, you're like, what the fuck do we do, right? So to see Snoop Dogg take control of the situation was, I thought, were really good. Unfortunately, there was a couple little slip ups there, right? He might have had the mic too close, so you could hear the ref audibly blurting out, "People's elbow, people's elbow." So like, it kind of did, of course, spoil the action of what you were going to see. But to Snoop Dogg's credit, yeah, he stepped up, and like, I guess it was cool. It's less than memorable. I don't think we're going to be talking about it years down the line. So whatever.
Hart, what'd you think about Snoop Dogg stepping up here?
Oh, dude, I think he had an idea of what it was going to be like to hit the ropes like everybody else, and then he found out real quick that the ropes ain't what you think they are. Especially those ones, the real rope. So it's much different than like you would think in a video game. Like the inertia of that video game makes you believe you got to have a big body and you got to have some momentum to make a move. And he just like, it's every guy you see their first day of wrestling school where they go to hit those ropes and like, they're just so petrified to hit them too hard. Like they're going to do some damage to them. It's like, no, you got to hit them hard. So these things like launch you back out. And then there's a certain footwork you got to do to it too. I'm like, oh, he's going to fuck himself up. But he survived somehow. And Shane,
at least this was a lot better than the doggy flop that he did in AEW last time that we saw him when he got his tall ass up there on the top rope and it just fell off. Vet, I'm going to hand this one to you here. I've seen this, a few people asking this, and Brantley's asking, Shane McMahon came back. Why?
Why not?
Any rhyme or reason to this, Vet? I mean, is there
just available? I don't know. Like, I don't know. He could come back. I don't know. People seem happy to see him.
You have this grander insight into some of the reasoning for some of this stuff.
Not on this. It's Shane McMahon. Like, I don't know. Like, why not Shane McMahon? I don't know why they picked Shane McMahon, or I don't know why they wouldn't have Shane McMahon any other times that they could use him. Apparently he probably shouldn't have been there. Because this is kind of what I was talking about. I was chatting with some people about, what happened to Dante Martin over the weekend. Like, God. This fucking guy takes a Canadian Destroyer through 2 tables, but it's his ankle that breaks. So he could consider himself lucky that that's what broke. But I always tell you, and John, this. You get hurt doing something stupid, but not the thing that looks dangerous, the thing that's just stupid. Sami Zayn celebrating on his entrance versus John Cena tearing his shoulder, or Shane McMahon landing on a leapfrog in a big moment or something like that. It's like stupid things are what gets you randomly hurt. So that was just kind of very embarrassing, but I will say this too. One thing that makes it a little bit more believable that Snoop Dogg could go over on The Miz is that second punch that he hit The Miz with seemed like a shoot punch. It seemed like he just walked up and
he tatered him for sure.
So yeah,
square on the jaw. He hit him hard. That was as hard as he could throw a punch, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, why shame a man? I don't know. It just, maybe not the best idea in hindsight.
Well, let's
Piss on the
Miz, the spectacles, the special spots there. Also inside those spectacles, GT, I'll start with you on this one here, and this is what it was all about. It was the visuals. So, and I thought they did an incredible job. Some of the imagery that they're going to get for any crossover promotion on this one was almost in Brock Lesnar. And a lot of the, just your day-to-day fans out there absolutely hating on this thing. I thought it delivered for everything that it was. What do you think about this, Jimmy T?
Absolutely, it delivered for what it was. I thought this was one of the better matches in all of the night 1 and night 2, only because it was a traditional, old school, two big men professional wrestling match. Man, it was exactly what it was meant to be. I have no gripes about it. I mean, let's be honest, man. What do people want to see? More flips, more super kicks? I mean, come on. How can you not? If you're a professional wrestling fan and you don't like this match, I'm sorry. I mean, there's something wrong.
I don't know. I was hoping Brock was going to do a 450. So, I mean,
oh, jeez.
Well,
redeem himself on the shooting star.
Yeah.
MSG, as I know your keen eyes all over the place and they had to be throughout this weekend, but I thought from production-wise, some of the shots they caught there in this match were absolutely incredible. I mean, you already got two larger-than-life figures, but they went to another level here.
Yeah, no, I thought this match was really, really good from start to finish because it felt like a real fight. I think this is the first time I think they put it over on the commentary. Like Brock Lesnar was the underdog, kind of fighting from under when it came to professional wrestling. Even when he fought Big Show, he was never really fighting from under, right? But they set him up in this. They set him up in this point where he's this small guy that has to try and overcome Omos, and it didn't go too long. So yeah, the impact of those shots, it's going to be good for social media for years to come because it looked really cool. And I was interested to see that they put Brock over because that's, Omos continues to lose in these big time matches. So there's going to come a certain point where as a fan, why would I care about anything he's going to do? He just loses every match. So they got to like actually build this guy and make him a viable threat in whatever division he chooses to wrestle in.
Hartnett, now that we do have, that you've got Lesnar with WWE, he's been kind of hinting at maybe he's going to transition out of this thing. Maybe they can sway. Maybe it's just a play because he knows all that big bucks that are on the table. We've got Bobby Lashley with WWE. Hey, can we finally get that dream MMA match that everybody's been waiting for between these two?
Yeah, you got a better shot at him doing something with Bobby than anything else because, I mean, anytime he says he's going back to fighting again right now, it's just a ploy to get WWE to spend more money on him. Pretty much, that's what it is.
You can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and now that's at the window too.
Yeah, so I think the best thing for Brock is working that schedule, man. It's the best schedule you could actually work in any sport, either one of them. Like there's no reason for him to come and fight for real again, and then it's just like they treat him like an attraction. He is an attraction. Like keep putting him in matches like this and things that make him look strong, and don't try to make him do stupid hokey shit with the fucking, with the magic freaking people or whatever they were trying to do with him,
It's hokey enough that he's Jimmy Wang Yang now.
Yeah.
God.
So
hey, right?
Yeah.
I think Jimmy's right up the street from me. They might have relocated, but I know he was operating some businesses up here, just right up the road from where I'm at.
Hey, Rick, with the
so that was night one.
I was going to ask about Brock Lesnar. With the speculation, that his contract may be coming up, do you see him potentially resigning since Vince McMahon's going to hang around for another 2 years? What do you think?
I think it's all a ploy. Brock probably had some indication what was going on here. So he's out there just chumming the water. He knows all these big bucks are at play here, and he's going to work whoever's cutting that final check. He's the master worker here from any angle of it. He's just doing some Brock Lesnar things. Of course, we had Brock and Omos open up night one, special attraction match, or night two. On night one, we opened up. We had a special attraction match as well. Vet, I want to go to you on this one. Austin Theory, John Cena. Cena seems to get the win here. Referee took an early bump on night one, so doesn't pick up the win. Theory with the low blow gets the win over the icon in Cena, absolute legend. This dude, did it do it for you? I've seen a lot of people kind of down on this, maybe expecting more from these two.
Well, it was good in the sense that in the opening match, they left plenty on the table for the rest of the show to do, which you don't see that much anymore. But here's my mindset. So I'm thinking, this is kicking off WrestleMania, which was announced. So I'm like, okay, John Cena's coming back. He's making his appearance. He's coming here to help put over a young guy or whatever. I'm just assuming that that's probably the finish here, right? And he's going to make Austin Theory. So, okay. So Austin Theory comes out, makes his entrance. And then, guys, then they bring out the Make-A-Wish kids. And I'm like, oh my God. In the middle, you're splitting the entrances with the Make-A-Wish kids? Oh no. Now Cena has to go over. You can't put Cena under now. You brought out the kids. Cena's gotta win now. And then they don't do it. They fuck John Cena. Sorry, kids. Like, yes, all you had to do was if their question was about the United States Championship, all you had to do was the same exact spot, only when Theory goes to punch John Cena in the balls, the referee sees it just in time. Like, he just recovers to see it. Then he disqualifies Austin Theory. And then Austin Theory's like, what? And then while he's arguing, Cena sort of recovers and gives him the attitude adjustment. Everybody's happy. Austin Theory's the United States champion. Cena won. The kids got to see what they wanted. That's all you had to do. And for the people that people would say that, like, oh, well, you got to give him you got to put the kid clean over the right way. It's like, no, fuck Austin Theory. The fact that he's in the ring with John Cena at a WrestleMania is his rub. That's it. No one gives a shit about a clean win. The right business is, no, I didn't ask you to bring those kids out on stage. Now that you did that, you got to do it right. So in that way, I think they fucked this whole thing up. But I don't know. What you guys tell me what you think.
Josh,
I love it, man. I love it. The rub didn't matter. Cena's not over. All they did was bury those Make-A-Wish kids.
Literally,
I love it.
They literally buried them.
Jimmy T, what do you make?
Yeah, they died of sadness now.
Oh no, come on, boy.
Yeah,
they ruined them.
I need that
Vince
WWE.com
McMahon is back,
exclusive.
baby.
Sorry, Rick. What was your question, man?
What do you make of that there, man? What did you make of Theory and Cena here? I don't know how you're going to top.
Well, yeah. First of all, I can never look at the Make-A-Wish kids the same way ever again after that. just quietly. But I will say this. I think Theory was the right guy to go over, though. Regardless of the Make-A-Wish kids or not. He was the right guy to go over. At the end of the day, I know, it's true, but look, at the end of the day, we don't know how long Cena was going to stay around for, though. Right? If he wasn't going to stick around, then what's the point of Cena going over?
Hold on.
Come on.
That's point, though. Wouldn't it have made more sense just to have Cena win at Mania and then just flip it back the next night, the night after WrestleMania?
You could
have just done that, and then everybody would, and then you get even more heat right in front of those diehard fans that maybe don't like Theory. But yeah, they buried the kid. It reminded me of the episode of Stanley's Cup, where Stan is supposed to, he makes a promise that they're going to score a goal, and they don't, and the kid dies. So, I mean, that's what it reminded me of.
I'm telling you, man. I will never look at these kids the same way again. Oh, boy. I can't do that. The poor kids, man. Now that he's put it like that, I mean, jeez.
The vet leveled it out, dude.
As we take a look, let's take a look at another special attraction match. We got celebrity involvement here, if you will. Seth freaking Rollins goes over on Logan Paul. These two, I mean, great athletes here. Paul is, he's been able to wow. Looks good in the transition into professional wrestling. Product placement every here. We get more celebrities involved here. Some great product placements. They go a little cheesy. Hartnett, what do you make here of this growing feud, this battle between Seth freaking Rollins and Logan Paul?
At least they didn't bring the Make-A-Wish kids back out.
Especially with Rollins laughing. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, the Rollins, I guess, character, the fact that they actually put freaking in his name now, I guess, is like a whole nother level for me. I really don't know. I appreciate his flamboyance and commitment to whatever it is, but like I just still don't know what it is. But I mean, yeah, Logan Paul, he impresses every time, pretty much. I'm impressed every time he goes out there. But yeah, the way he wrestles too, he's not going to do this for a long time or a full schedule either, bro. He goes hard. Those matches are hurting him today. You know, like every next morning, I'm sure he's like, "Why am I doing this?" For sure.
Vet, break this one down for a little bit. You know, a lot going on. You got the athleticism they want on display. You got the Seth Rollins stuff you got to get in, and you got to get a prime table spot.
Yeah,
literally a prime table spot in there.
Yeah, prime table spot. So that part was pretty good, the timing on that. Now, to what MSG said earlier about the production, well, you know, when they tried to have Seth Rollins have his special entrance with the conductor and everything, they fucked up the cues on that really bad.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
Like, the timing was so, like, you could tell, like, the guy was expecting the music to come up at a certain time, and they didn't play it. And there was another thing or two like that throughout the show. But I mean, that stuff's going to happen. It's not like I want to, you know, call too much attention to that, but I thought of it when you said it. The match, you know, it was fine. What was interesting was Seth Rollins talking to Daniel Cormier. Did anybody see that?
No.
I didn't catch it.
He asked him about something that almost happened between him and Cody backstage, I guess, as a shoot.
Oh,
I
heard
that.
about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and Seth Rollins just basically making the point of, you know, why has he come back and get this spot? I mean, he said it and tried to be more diplomatic about it, which was kind of my whole thing of, like, even when we weren't sure if it was Cody was just rumored to be coming back, and I was thinking, like, why would they bring him back in a major spot? You know, like, they historically, they don't treat people that well that have gone off and done well for themselves. They like to make them eat shit for a while. So, you know, so like, I get what he was saying on that, but this spot shows how much faith that the company does have in Seth Rollins, because he's got the carry a celebrity spot, you know, like Sami Zayn had the prior year, or you know, as many other wrestlers, Bam Bam Bigelow, WrestleMania 11, like, you know, it's a big deal to have that spot, even though it's not the main event. Look, Seth Rollins wrestled, you know, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, these guys bunches of times, but this is like another level. This is like showing, you know, this really is greatness on a different level, to be able to take a guy that's done it like 3 times or whatever it's been. And I'm sure it was like quite rehearsed or whatever on his part, at least. I don't think Seth had to rehearse anything, but I'm sure Logan Paul was, you know, memorizing every bit of this and whatever, but it's no less impressive. So this is a good integration of celebrity, as you guys were talking about earlier, like taking Logan Paul, hoping that he can bring some eyes to this, actually being impressive when he's in there doing it. But yeah, so I thought this was good, and Seth Rollins went over for a change.
Hey, real quick to backtrack here, you know, we've got, you know, maybe the point, a comment here. Let's see if we get it to show here. But anyway, over in the chat there asking, you know, maybe they want, you know, they just wanted to get that ultimate heat on Austin Theory. So, you know, John Cena has granted 650 Make-A-Wishes since 2002. Maybe that could be Austin's his gimmick. He's just going out and ruining over 650 Make-A-Wish kids' lives.
That'd be great.
The Make-A-Wish killer.
So going
he should show up
forward,
at
he's
the
just
hospitals and like yell at
the
kids.
Make-A-Wish killer.
Oh no!
That'd be great.
The Make-A-Wish killer.
Absolutely.
You're gonna die.
Hart,
Shit.
Dude.
Hart, you know, a lot of obviously what we're going to be talking about going forward with WWE is potential crossover involvement with the MMA world, UFC. With the special attractions, we've got Ronda Rousey back. She's been around more frequently than some of these others, but were you surprised that she didn't get a bigger role on the show? She was just her and Shayna really in, you know, the Night 2 throwaway women's Four Corners tag spotlight match.
No, it's hard because since Ronda came back, I feel like a lot of her like momentum was ruined by her time away, and they put her with Shayna, and Shayna like kind of brings her down, you know. Like I don't think being with Shayna elevates her at all. I think it kind of lowers her stock, if anything. So her spot on the card, I think, was just get Ronda's name on here and get Ronda on the billing and the posters and the media and stuff like that, because she's Ronda. But other than that, it it was nothing more than just to get her paid, I think. And that's like putting her in the right spot to make sure that money's made off her name. Nothing to do with her putting on a 20-minute, great all-time match or anything like that. And I think from where she's at in the position, she's, I don't know, they got to repackage her some way, put her on a run, do something to get people's interest back in, because I feel like it's fading. Like
who? Ronda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly.
I was just, a little surprised. I get what you're saying, though. Maybe it's just, getting her present, getting her name out there, but really not a whole lot to do with her. Really not much to talk about in that match. Beck, go ahead, bud.
Oh, I just wanted to say real quick, I think a lot of this was also because of her injury timetable. They weren't sure if she'd even be ready to go, so they didn't want to do like a long promotion and lead up into something else that may not be able to happen. But even if she wasn't quite ready, she could be in this tag match with all these other, the 7 others that could, take care of it. So that's probably why that the main reason why that was.
Absolutely. So not really much to take from this women's tag match, but we did have a couple of big time women's tag matches, championship bouts that I want to talk about. We'll start about, with your girl from down under there, Jimmy T, Rhea Ripley going up against the Queen, arguably one of the greatest of all time, the precious Shar. But your girl gets it done, bring a championship gold home to Australia. What'd you think of Ripley and Charlotte? A lot of people thought, maybe it was a little rough getting going, but later in that match, they really turned up the intensity.
I mean, I felt that this match possibly could have been maybe the match of Mania when you think about it, man. I mean, these two absolutely put on a great match. Look, what's going on with Shasha right now? I mean, let's be honest. Is she even sticking around? I heard she wants to do things outside of WWE right now. I don't know what that is. Could be to become a mother for, if that's the case. That's cool. But didn't she just come back already? I mean, come on. But Rhea Ripley, the media here are actually making a big deal about her winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. And right now, I mean, let's be honest, she's the hottest thing when it comes to the women's division. That's for sure, man. So she absolutely deserved it and earned it. So
they did. She is getting a lot of press down there, a lot of crossover, a lot of hype,
absolutely.
A lot of enthusiasm from the community.
Absolutely, man. I mean, she started off literally, when I say indies here in Australia, I mean, she started off in Riot City Wrestling and she just flew up all the way to where she is now pretty fast. And to think she's only still 25, 26, I mean, she's still young, man. It's all the way up for her. And I think the sky's the limit. I mean, she was very shy initially when she first came to the States, man. And even Triple H has mentioned how when he first saw her, he saw a girl that was scared, shy. She was crying all the time about making it in the US. And look at her now, man. I mean, she's flying high, absolutely flying high, and quite possibly one of the faces of WWE right now, for sure.
Absolutely. MSG, this match here for the Raw or SmackDown Women's. Was it SmackDown? Yeah, SmackDown Women's Championship. Night one, what'd you think there? Yeah. Charlotte going down to Ripley.
I mean, the match wasn't bad. I just didn't care going into it. I've been watching SmackDown, so I have been watching.
You weren't hype behind.
Yeah, there was no hype. It was just each week I watched them talk, and it was Charlotte stating she's the best, and Rhea every week coming out and saying, "You beat me 3 years ago, so I'm going to get you back." So I just didn't really give a shit going into this. There was no heat to me. Good wrestling match. I don't know if it was match of the night, my personal opinion, but then again, you two might think it is because you got Aussie Boy here and you got a cardboard cutout of Charlotte Flair in your bedroom, Rick. So I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me.
I mean, first of all, I'm not the biggest Ripley fan.
It was a solid match.
Come on. Right, it was solid.
A lot of people your take on the women's championship night one.
Oh, well, they busted their ass. But I like their empty WrestleMania match better. If they had that match with a reverse finish on this one, that would have been great. But instead, we got this, which was still pretty good. And a lot of people are seeming to like it. So that's mission accomplished. And, Rhea Ripley, it's like she's the obvious choice. It almost seems like Charlotte was only here just for this match. It's like they brought her back, when they brought her back, how they brought her back, just so that Rhea Ripley could go over on her here. So, you know, with that in mind, she did her job, I guess. You're right, MSG. The lead up to this was shit. The lead up to almost everything on this show was shit. So it's a testament to all these great men and women to be able to, pull what they did out of that and get the people into it, because the people were into it. And Los Angeles crowds are notoriously like not that into it compared to some other areas of the country. So we had there was a lot of engagement, and that was good. But yeah, Rhea Ripley, face of the company. Sure. I'd like to see more of her going in the future. And, she's been good ever since I saw her in the Mae Young Classic. So it's just like, I just knew it was a matter of time, even though she looks like 180 degrees from what she looked when she showed up on, the American shores. She's no less talented. She's only gotten better. And she's finally anointed, so good for her, man. John?
Absolutely. Now, Harley, I'm going to get to you in a minute, because I'm going to combine some things. I want to transition here for a minute, because we've got to make this move here, play these together here. But as we mentioned, night one, we get the Make-A-Wish kids. Night two, involved in the second women's match. And Vet, I want you to break this one down for us and compare the two here. But we get the Compton Dance Girls, right? The Compton Divas.
Mm-hmm.
They come out with us. We get more kids with us, but they make the right call on this one. The hero goes over, the one that they're there with. I wouldn't say actually a hero. I mean, is Asuka really a heel in this thing? So it was kind of hard
I was thinking for a second, I was like, Compton kids. All right, gotcha.
Yeah,
that's what they were called. They were called that, yeah.
The Compton Divas. That's what it was. The Compton Divas.
And hats off to the little girl, man, whose mother passed away that day, apparently, and still came out and done what she did. That was, I mean, any normal person, even at our age, would break. But this little girl, man, I mean, shit. I can't say anything enough about it. I mean, I don't know how she did it, man.
Yeah, I mean, very, very cool moment. And before I throw it back to the vet here, I think, it is a great representation of what really is on the table, especially marketing-wise, with Bianca. I mean, she has a tremendous look. She's a great athlete. You can tell there's a great passion. Help her develop maybe that little bit more of that personality. But she has that ability to be able to have that reach, to influence, grow the bubble there. So from that standpoint, the marketing side of it, there's so much upside. I love Bianca. But compare the two matches, the night one women's championship and the night two. And then I'm going to kick it to you, Hartnett, for the same question. But go ahead, Bet.
Okay. First of all, I love the Bianca entrance. And I thought, like, one of my favorite things about Bianca, I like a lot of things about Bianca, but one of which is her theme song. So it looked really cool to have people actually do a routine to it, I thought, which is a WrestleMania tradition. We've seen a lot of people utilize cool, like, opportunities to enhance their entrance and make it big and special. So I like that. And so a lot of what I didn't like about the first championship match from night one, I liked about this match, and I'll explain. So, like, when I watched the Charlotte and Rhea match, I kind of checked out halfway through. I was just like, okay, they're just doing moves to each other. I'm not into it, So I just kind of like waiting for it to be over, even though they were working hard, But they weren't really telling a story to me that I could get. And you hear people say, tell a story in a match or tell a story in the ring, whatever. You hear that all the time. And a lot of people don't really explain it. I think some people just say it because they've heard other people say it and they don't really know what it means. This match with Bianca and Asuka was telling a story that the other match should have maybe told, because it was a similar story. It's like the Charlotte and Asuka are the gatekeepers of their generation. They're trying to, hold on to their spot and be at the top, while the younger generation is coming up after them trying to proclaim their own greatness, right? So in this match, you see Asuka taking every opportunity to try to win, whether she's wrapping Bianca up in submissions, trying to get technical pins. Bianca's just trying to rush forward and beat the shit out of her. You know what I mean? Like brute force this thing. I'm going to brute force this thing, which is kind of how they've pushed Bianca, like in the meta of this whole thing. Like, we're just going to smash her over. We don't care if it makes sense or not. We don't care who we sacrifice along the way. Bianca's getting over. So Bianca approaches that match this way, and Asuka tries everything. It doesn't quite work. Bianca comes out on top, right? With, you know, that's the similar match that I didn't get that story from Charlotte and Rhea. I didn't get Charlotte being like, you know, the veteran trying to hold off the up and coming youngster. I just got trading moves. That's what I got from that. I got a sense of desperation from Asuka. There's the story there. That's how, even though it's the same story, only one group, you know, set of women told the story correctly. So for that, I would give slightly higher marks to this match with Bianca and Asuka over the other one. John,
so would I, Vet. Thank you for saying that, because I said the same thing, and apparently everyone thought I was crazy. So
no, you're not crazy. But John, damn it, I'm trying to pitch to John. I've been trying to pitch to John for like 2 times now. Now, damn it.
All right, good.
Take the ball, John.
Got the ball. Thank you very much, Vet. Appreciate it. I mean, who's going to break it down better than you, though? I mean, that's the best breakdown you could possibly give either one of those matches. But what impressed me the most from the Bianca match was actually Asuka's grappling and transitions. She hit like a shoot omoplata on Bianca Belair, where I felt like, dude, she's going to tear her shoulder because Bianca doesn't even know which way to go here. And she's trying to tell her to go flat. And then at some point she's just like, all right, bitch, you're going flat. And she flattens her out. And Corey Graves didn't even know what to call it. She was like, well, what a maneuver. But it was an omoplata. But the thing was great. And like seeing her do that, like she's a better, more competent grappler than somebody that they try to bill like it, like a Jon Moxley or something like that. So, you know, that was cool to see. And I liked how they, once again, told the story like Bet said. You know, she had never won a WrestleMania match. She was desperate for the win. Everything she did was to try to finish the match, which is the way things should be. You know, she wasn't picking her up to put her back down again, which is like a common thing, which was happening in that other match that you could see. And like those things, those little transitions and how they apply that and make it seem like a real competition was huge. And I love the way they finished it with Bianca displaying her strength, because that could have went wrong, like real wrong. But they were cool with it, and they kind of took their time and made sure they didn't rush it. And she yoked it up and showed her strength, and because Asuka's not like a light chick either, so that was kind of a, you know, impressive move for her to get up there, boom, hit the finish, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You know, good match, good business, yeah. And the girl, the Compton girl,
John,
I was like,
John, we'll stick with you. We'll stick with you. You know, about heavy hitters, man. And just thinking about, you know, this match, I could feel it, man. It just hurts. But the triple threat, the Intercontinental Championship match with Sheamus and McIntyre, man. I mean, these guys are pro wrestlers, and they went out there and were just chopping and throwing haymakers at one another. Gunther goes really to another level here, picking up this win.
Yeah, I just wish they didn't do that stupid Mike's Hard Lemonade spot before the match, dude. That made them look like a couple of freaking sissies, dude, you know? And then they come out there and they have that kind of match. Like, it just took a little bit off of it for me, because I'm just sitting there and I'm watching. I'm like, what the, like, what am I? Oh, you brother, you're a Mike, and then you're hard. Like, dude, it was really strange innuendo and just like awkward to the point where I'm like, just get Gunther out here, please. Like, can we make this about wrestling again? And yeah, as soon as Gunther showed up, business picked up as usual. And yeah, he's my favorite thing to watch in pro wrestling right now, dude. On any brand, if you tell me I'm gonna get see Gunther, give it to me. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. I think he's the best of any brand, any show, any organization. Give me Gunther. Like, he's believable. He's everything that, like, when I look at wrestling now, like I've had the conversation with my brother. I'm like, dude, if we grew up now, like, we wouldn't like wrestling the way we do, like, from growing up from the period we had it the way it was. But like a guy like Gunther is a guy that you could drop back into that period. You could drop into a territory, but you could drop into any period, and he is pro wrestling. And like, everything he does is believable. Everything he does has a reasonable look to it, approach to it, and everything from his footwork to his selling, his demeanor, his everything. Dude, he's aces, five stars, and 10 stars, whatever Meltzer's giving away now, dude. Give it all to that guy, you know.
Now, MSG, you're a bit of a lapsed fan, especially when it comes to WWE. You know, you just mentioned you don't watch a whole lot of SmackDown. I know you knew who he was, you know of him, but seeing Gunther now on this level, is he somebody that would pull you back in, that you'd be interested, you're not necessarily tuning in, but start following and keep an eye on?
Yeah, so I mean, I started probably right around the Royal Rumble season. You know, I thought I'd give WWE a chance again. So I have watched a little bit of them, but yeah, this match was amazing. And you know, Triple H, Paul Levesque put it as well that he was probably the biggest star to come out of WrestleMania this weekend, just based on the show and the performance Gunther put on. So yeah, I found myself by the end of that match being like, wow, I like this guy. He's kick-ass, take no prisoners kind of guy. He just comes out there, beats the shit out of you, and then he leaves. So, I mean, and then, of course, he's got his Imperium surrounding him. They've been doing the SmackDown thing, so he's got his own little clique. Yeah, I'm digging Gunther. Remains to be seen what they do with him. Everyone's wants to know where they're going to go with Roman Reigns in the title. You know, he could just hold on to it for 1,200 days or whatever and just put Gunther over. I don't know. At this point, Gunther seems like he's the only legitimate badass in the company, right, that could actually take on Roman.
Jimmy T, we're going to move on to our next, I don't know, deep feud, blood feud, if you will. This one goes down inside Hell in a Cell. We got Edge and what maybe is the big payoff match here with Finn Balor under the demon paint. You were talking about build, lack of build, excitement going into a match. Were you hyped for this one, Jimmy?
Not really, to be honest, Rick. Not at all. This match was a cluster, man. These two just don't gel. They've got no chemistry. Let's be honest. Finn Balor, what is he, like 5'6", 5'7", looking like a friggin' clown? I mean, seriously, the demon character was alright at first. It was cool like a few years ago. But at his size, he's just not intimidating, even as a demon. I just can't take him seriously, especially that he's growling all through the match. I mean, he's like, like, what the? Like, come on, man. I can't take him seriously. And what was his brood edge? We didn't even get Gangrel. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Exactly. I mean, nah. This match stunk. And, I mean, did you see the botch spot, man, with the ladder? I mean, did you see the cut on his head? That was deep, dude. I mean, he needed probably at least 30 stitches on his head. Easy. So, I don't even know if he'll be back anytime soon. He'd be concussed for sure.
That was the demon gimmick brought back and the Hell in a Cell gimmick brought back just to try to get some interest behind this match?
Merchandise.
Probably. MSG, did you have anything else to add before that?
Well, I was just going to ask, you made I don't care about Balor and the Edge thing, but you made the comment that, he's only 5'6" and he doesn't do it for you. Yet the night before we had
he keeps getting shorter and shorter. People keep, he's probably about 5'11" or 5'10".
We just inducted a guy though that was 5'3".
I'm 5'10". He's shorter than me.
Right? He was the Hall of Famer. That being Rey Mysterio. So I guess why does his small stature not work for Finn Balor, but maybe work for Rey Mysterio?
I think there is a difference between those two. Is one, Rey was a block of bricks.
Go ahead and talk for Jimmy, Rick.
Jimmy, go ahead. Yeah, set him straight here, man.
No. What was the question again?
Why between the height difference, we had one guy who was just inducted to the Hall of Fame, right? Rey Mysterio, who's technically shorter than Finn.
That's true.
You made the analogy that Finn doesn't do it for you as a short-statured male wrestler. I was asking you why does it do it for you for Rey?
Because that's Rey's gimmick. It's always been his gimmick. He's always been the small guy that overcomes big things. I mean, think about it. That's his gimmick, literally. So I think with Rey, it works a little bit differently with him. Whereas Finn, what is he, a demon? A demon's that sort of small? I mean, do they, you know what I'm saying? Do they growl? I mean, whatever the case is, that's what sort of takes me out of it. It just doesn't work for me, man.
Look, demons growl, bro.
All right, now I will ask the same question. Vet, what would you like to say about this match since you threw it to me?
Well, on that thing, it's like the thing about size in wrestling is when you bury somebody for not being tall enough or heavy enough or whatever, that's fine if they have nothing else to offer besides that. I mean, if you if you're looking for a jack guy, then we have bodybuilding federations. Maybe not Vince McMahon's bodybuilding federations, but we do have other ones that you can watch guys who can't do anything stand around and be big. Okay, but guys like Rey Mysterio, guys like Finn Balor do have other things to offer. They're there for the sport of it. So if they're really good, then you have to overlook that stuff. Now, that being said, this fucking match. First off, the first thing Jimmy's point, Brood Edge, what the hell is that? Why would you put that on the screen? What kind of corny bullshit is that? You're just telling people what to, and then Michael Cole putting it over. Yeah, yes, that was the worst, I just like, and they do these things like kind of like all wrong where they have these specialized intros, right? Like Edge had the Slayer intro and then they just cut it to his normal theme music. No, just make the full entrance like that and then start the match. Like you got your entrance with the Slayer. You don't then play the Metalingus or whatever that fucking song is. Just do that. And they, anyway, so that's that. Then I was hoping, okay, WrestleMania in Hollywood. Now Finn Balor's finally going to get away from the Party City streamers and analog telephone cords and stuff that he hangs off and belts that he hangs off his stupid little headdress or whatever for this demon thing. And he's going to get like the full, like the Predator dreads, like something that looks really professional and cool. He's finally going to do that. Nope, no, he isn't. So that right off the bat, from the presentation to the entrances and stuff, I'm like, you're missing, you did a cool thing, but you still fucked it up a little bit. So I wasn't happy right off the bat. I'm going to disavow the match entirely on grounds of kendo stick. When a kendo stick appears, I don't have to really talk about the match, and especially when especially when they're color coded and you have like color coded chairs and kendo sticks. And why were the tables just plain wood? Why not they be red and purple too? Like, why don't we have a purple table out here? What the fuck? Like, just blowing it on every possible level. No, but anyway, yeah. Can you imagine while the demon's back there growling? Like he's like, and he's like spray painting a kendo stick purple. Like, like what are we really supposed to think? Why would this exist? This is the opposite of Walter. We need more Walter and less this bullshit. You could do everything the same, except just not have kendo sticks and bullshit like that. And, play the full Slayer entrance. These guys basically killed each other in there. And like you were supposing, it's because there was very little interest. They've marginalized Finn Balor up to this point. And then all of a sudden they slap the paint on him and bring out the Hell in the Cell stipulation just to get people excited. In 2023, you should not be not excited to see a match between Finn Balor and Edge, but that's where we are. Wow. So
you know why they had the colored sticks there? This is Balor going back to Balor clubs for everybody. Oh. This is for the LGBT.
Well, they're still missing a few colors though.
That's going to be coming out. As Red said, that's going to get you ready for the play set. But let's say hot with Vet here as we move on, because the big, personal feud here before we get to some main events here. Vet, I know you wanted this one. Yeah, let's go down Mysterio Lane, baby.
Yeah, brought to you by Cinemoji Crunch.
You talk about a bad product placement with Mike's Harmon.
If you ever had any doubt how little respect this company has for Rey Mysterio, let this be Exhibit Double Z. You're gonna sit here, and first of all, we had to put up with this whole terrible build to this thing, and I'm sorry, it was terrible. And the last time you even see Rey Mysterio before this match gets made, he's losing to LA Knight, which it's like, I don't want to take away from LA Knight. This is not about that, but it's about the only time, this LA Knight's won less matches than podcasts that I have to record today. So that's the time you choose to put him over the Hall of Famer, right? So, but whatever, that's whatever. And then thank God we had Conan to actually be the only one this weekend to like really show him some love and respect with that Hall of Fame speech, because otherwise coming out and having your name spelled out in Cinnamon Toast Crunch as the graphic for your entrance to your personal feud match. Huh? What's that? What's
the taste you can see. Sorry.
It's the taste you can see. Yeah. There was one of the Cinemojis like that was plastered all around the barricades or whatever had like it's like an eye roller, and I was like, yep, that's me. That cinnamon toast crunch emoji is me right now watching this. You know, the match was, I mean, whatever. Ray's endured countless indignities so that his untalented son can have a job. And I respect Ray for that. I respect him being able to be the true professional and go along with all this for the sake of what he thinks is something better. Even though I'm sure they're going to, you know, cut bait as soon as he's no longer affiliated with them, because there's just really nothing there at this time. But the main thing was just the absolute disrespect to me that we're lucky enough to be in the presence of, you know, a true legend that can still do it. Like, he can't do it exactly the way he did when he was, you know, 19 or whatever, but he's most of it pretty good still. He can break out a lot of the stuff if he absolutely has to. And we're privileged to be able to see that. And this is not how you showcase that he deserves better is all I'm trying to say.
Vet coming in hot. I was going to throw it out there to anybody else here on the panel. Vet does not like Dom here. Can someone defend?
I do. Well, I just want to say the person Dominic, I want to say I love that. How could you not love that kid? Because he is who he seems like a nice kid. But I'm talking about everything he's been presented, what he's physically done, those things so far. That's all. Just to make that clear.
Jimmy, can you defend Con Dom?
I've been defending him actually probably a lot. Let's be honest.
Let's do a lot better job than he did about people under 5'7".
Well, yeah. But look, I think for his age, yeah, sure, he's not the greatest in the ring. He's still kind of green, but he's good enough for now, right? But in terms of Judgment Day, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, Judgment Day has really made Dominic and Rhea, right? Out of everyone in this group. I think Dom...
No, they've succeeded in spite of Judgment Day. Judgment Day's like an albatross.
Well, they're the only two positives, right? I mean, and Dom, I think he's pretty good at generating heat. And I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. I mean, he's a pretty decent talker. He doesn't sort of get scared while getting all this heat. I think he can hold his own. And I think in the future, I mean, what I found cool about Dom, when he came out, right, with the Ray mask on, and the mask kind of looked like like it was a Judgment Day version. It was kind of heelish. I think he could pull it off with the mask on as a heel Rey Mysterio. I think it would work. But, I mean, come on, guys. You got to give Ray a bit of credit. I think he's not bad. He's only going to get better, but he needs to put on some muscle mass, man. He's just too...
I think that's part of his appeal here. You know, you can kind of you look at him, even though he has it, inside of him, great success with his father. Those that have been around him as he's growing up, his entire family involved in this thing.
Absolutely.
But he's still, with his look, even in his face, his body language, he still seems like he doesn't quite belong. So I thought he found and made some great strides in that groove. It's just that lost coward chicken shit heel. And then when you play into this over exaggeration and overplaying into the con game, that it's really helped him excel and find a spot to fit in. I enjoyed a lot of the build here. At first I questioned if Ray should be going in while active, but I liked that they were giving back with it. First I was like, please don't do anything at the Hall of Fame. I didn't mind what they did. I didn't think it went overboard. So yeah, but again, once we get to the payoff though, and I see Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's all gone, all out the window.
I agree. I hated that.
They hoard out this match.
That's good. That's going to be on the replays till the end of time now. Like, you can't undo that. It's one thing if you use why can't you sponsor the WrestleMania Showcase match with Cinnamon Toast Crunch and then leave this? Or if Rey Mysterio just has a random match against hey, we're just having a match against a good opponent here. Like, maybe if he had a match against LA Knight at WrestleMania, and he's used to sponsor matches. He's a Pitch Black Mountain Dew. We Cinnamon Toast Crunch, brings you Rey Mysterio versus LA Knight or something like that. But for this, maybe just not. Maybe not Hall of Fame weekend. Maybe, just maybe. Think about it. Maybe
threw it all away, and you're right. That's the ultimate disrespect. That you're right.
They should have done something though at the Hall of Fame. Wouldn't it have been better though? No, honestly, like that build up where, and don't get me wrong, I love that moment on SmackDown where Ray finally turned. Right, on
That's
Dominic.
horrible, Jimmy. That's horrible. Boo. Boo.
Hold on. I
Okay.
agree in somewhat, right? Because I would have preferred that happening in the Hall of Fame. I just think it would have been way more heat and way more sort of eye-opening, if you know what I mean.
How about the Hall of Fame? How about the Hall of Fame starting an angle? Like not being like the genesis of an angle. Like maybe he hadn't turned on his dad yet, and then seeing him at the Hall of Fame starts him thinking like, man, I don't want to be the shadow of my dad or something. So that maybe in the future we can get something. But now him having to sell the angle during this and whatever, and not really take part of it on camera with Ray and the rest of his family, he has to just walk out. You know, like. You know that in Dominic doesn't feel like that. He's happy for his dad, but now he has to pretend like he's not, which is like, I don't know. It's a way to go, but nobody believes this shit anymore, so it's not. No. It's just in bad taste. That's all. If people were still believing this shit, like maybe in the '80s you could have done something like this, but
I don't know. I thought it would have been a good move just to keep him away from it, you know. But just not even have him there. But I don't know. Maybe it would hurt him deep if he had to miss that moment for his dad. But hey, that's business, Just give it to your dad. You can be with him later on with it. But gentlemen, let's shift gears here. Get on the home stretch. We're talking about those emotional stories.
Before we get off,
go ahead, John.
Didn't they fucking let like Buddy Murphy there too? Just like totally blowing cake.
That little Easter egg. It's
like,
Murphy, Rhea, and then Dom. So he's sitting there with this stupid look on his face in the background of all this.
Yeah, like, he's the one really boning this chick, and then it's like, you guys sit here and pretend like you hate your dad, like, and this guy don't even work for the fucking company, and they let him in there, like, sit right there, like, here, go out here, and just, like, they don't give a fuck, do they? They just really don't give a fuck
There's
about anything.
There's been no emotion from Dominic in this full storyline. I'm not saying he's not a good wrestler, but when he talks on the mic, he just sounds like he's reading words. He doesn't sound like he's emoting the emotions in the context of the story. So I just don't.
Trying to find his way.
Yeah.
You need some acting classes. Go get an acting coach and fucking learn how to do it. Sorry.
Well, let's shift gears to some guys who know how to do it. It's been a roller coaster of emotion from every which angle. Great debate of who should have been in the final, the big main event. What were going to be the big payoffs here? We got our double main events for night one, night two. Let's go ahead and start with night one. Jimmy T, I'll go to you to get you started on this conversation. Of course, we got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the brothers from another mother, coming back together to claim a big WrestleMania moment over the Twins. The incredible reign of the Usos comes to an end after 3 whoever kicks. You can tell me that arena loved it. I've seen plenty of videos on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, across social media. People at home just so emotionally invested in this thing. Jimmy, night one, did this match? Did it move you, man? Did it move you to your feet?
Look, it moved me, right? But even though this was the obvious going into WrestleMania from way before Elimination Chamber, we were all speculating that this was going to be the finish to that storyline when it involved Sami Zayn. But look, great match. Absolutely great match. One too many super kicks, one too many near finishes. And really, this match is all built about Sami Zayn and the Usos. That's it. It would have been fine if Kevin Owens wasn't even there, because really he was an afterthought in this match. This was all about Sami Zayn and the Usos. And for that, great. It told the story, even though it was an obvious story. I don't know if you should have pulled the trigger back at Elimination Chamber with Sami Zayn or not, but I just don't like how it was just too obvious getting to this point. But in saying that, the match itself had the drama, had the psychology to an extent, except, again, one too many super kicks. And the match delivered. I mean, we all knew it was going to be a so-called banger, right? And it pretty much was. But it could have been structured a little better.
All right, we're going to go around the horn, hit these main events with everybody. Vet, what do you think here, night one main event?
Well, it seemed like they made the right decision on who goes over, but that's going to come into play on night two. And I have more things to say about that, but the people were happy, so, good. It'd be better if we didn't see matches like this on AEW 5 times a week, but
True.
But you kind of have to have the match with the epic kickouts and stuff like that in the main event of WrestleMania. When's the last time a tag team match was the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah, that is a real quick, interesting point. You know, you're going to put a spotlight. Hell, we went for so long before the Usos were even on WrestleMania, and they were the tag champs most of those times. But to put it in a spotlight like this, really, I mean, WWE is in a position. You look at that tag team roster; they could shotgun a hot division right now. They could get back and put a focus on that. You see any chance of that, Vet, or we just had to do something with these guys? Well, now we're going to go back to not caring about them.
Well, I mean, a chance, sure. I mean, historically, the WWE's always had a good tag team roster ready to go if anybody would just care. So I don't even know why they sign tag teams, to be honest, or make people tag teams, because they have no interest in it. It's like you have to see the Andre the Giant Battle Royal to remember that Los Lotharios are a tag team. Los
Lothagicos?
Yeah, exactly. So, so I think that, yeah, it's possible. So let's see. And let's, quite frankly, like you said, we kind of have to now, because you can't just have the Usos and this be a 2-team race for these belts. Other people kind of got to want them. You know, you got to tell the story that, hey, I'm a tag team and I want championships. Why do I have to sit here and watch you guys play this out over and over again? Where's my shot? So, yeah, let's do it. Let's get some tag teams going.
MSG, your thought coming back for WrestleMania and tag team wrestling, closing it out, man. As you said, you just got back around Royal Rumble. Were you big invested into this, the whole Sammy and Bloodline thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what kind of brought me back into this WrestleMania season, was the Sammy and the Bloodline storyline leading into the Rumble and the subsequent events that followed. So I was anticipating, like most, that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were going to win this match. I think Vet's probably going to get into it at some point when he talks about the main event. I found it a little bit confusing what happened the next night, as far as them not having the championship belts. But that being said, I thought it was a good match between the Uso brothers, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. I'm thinking someone will probably have to look it up. 1985, WrestleMania 1, Mr. T.
That's what you just said.
Orndorff, and that would be okay. So, someone just did. Okay, yeah. So that would be the first time, I think maybe the last time we had a tag team main event. So, I thought it was a great match. I wasn't disappointed, and I thought it was good that they let the crowd go happy on night one, because nobody's going to be happy at the end of night two, according to the internet. But Mr. Hartnett, I'll let you go ahead and give your thoughts on this tag team main event.
I agree with Jimmy. Too many kicks, and like when you do stuff like that, you just expose the business, because you're kicking the dude in the face 3 times and he doesn't have a scratch on him. You know what I mean? Like, you should at least have the guy like get some color if you're gonna do something stupid like that, and give it the visual of like, oh, this guy's dead. It's like, no, it looks like your move sucks, and like, hey, okay, you hit him with it 3 times, there's not a scratch on him. You must, you can't punch your way out of a wet paper bag. Like, I never get that. I never understand that. Like, whatever. I think they dropped the ball here because, like you guys said, the tag team division to them is meaningless. And I think there was more money in building Sammy as a singles competitor. Putting him here with Kevin Owens, I think, is a waste. It doesn't do it for me. I've seen them do the Ring of Honor thing and everything before. Like, to me, they're not even for me, like a Ring of Honor tag team that'd be cool to see would be like the Kings of Wrestling come back. But like, who am I? You know what I mean? Like, Sammy and Kevin, cool, I guess, right? Like, against whatever, dude. Nobody cares. Roman Reigns is our tribal chief, and that's all that matters. And you were an idiot if you thought anything different.
There were a lot of shout-outs.
Everybody's getting fucked, pal.
There were a lot of shout-outs.
Cody Rhodes, everybody. The Rhodes kids, sit in front row. Make them watch their father lose. Where's Timmy Baltimore? Wheel him down here. Make him watch. You make him watch. That tribal chief takes no prisoners. That was the only thing that mattered all weekend.
Before you jump into the main event, Rick, I just wanted to point out, since he talked about, having to do 3 finishing moves to get a move over, one thing that bothered me over the course of this weekend is that both Seth, I guess it didn't bother me when Roman Reigns did it, but it bothered me when Logan Paul kicked out of Triple H's pedigree, and then the very next night, someone else kicked out of the pedigree. I just thought all weekend they were really burying Triple H's finisher at this point. Anyway.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute, MSG. Nobody kicked out of Triple H's pedigree.
True. That's true.
They kicked out of Seth Rollins' pedigree. He didn't know how to do it. He lets the arms go too early and everything. He doesn't jump that high. He's just not good at the pedigree.
Logan Paul should not be kicking out of a pedigree. I guess
It's funny because I know people right here on the indie scene like, what the fuck are you kicking out of pedigrees for in tombstones? Come on, it's even on that level. It's like, what are you doing here?
Think about it. DDT used to be a finisher, Rick. I mean,
I know. Sometimes you got to breathe with it. You got to breathe with it. But hey, Harder had the fire, the emotion, the energy.
I acknowledge the tribal chief. He's allowed to kick out of anything. I just want to point out.
You better acknowledge the tribal chief.
Two.
Plus 285. Get out of here, you fucking squares.
Night 2 had an incredible energy about it. You could tell that was, it was the selling point. It was why everybody was here. They were looking forward to the WWE Universal Championship on the line. Cody Rhodes, the seemingly undeniable challenger, taking on Roman Reigns, the unbreakable champion. The intensity growing through the night, the energy in that building, simply amazing. The entrances, there was a roof on this thing. It would have been blown off. It was an awesome feeling, truly big match, something we haven't experienced inside WWE in quite a while. We're making mention that, Cody's out. He's got Liberty, his daughter, there, holding her in front of the crowd. He's kissing. The wife is there. His mom is there. -1 is there. -1 is there. And then, so you got that emotion. And then you just have that unmatched energy of Roman Reigns to come out and just pretty much calm everything and steal the show during his entrance.
Absolutely, 100% spot on.
And I love how maniacal they were through the match, kind of trying to keep that momentum for what each represents there. Hart, and I'm going to let you start with this thing. You're the big winner in this match. Yeah. You're the one cashing in on the bank here, baby. Run it back around the loop here for us. Man,
I know it was the only thing like people cared about storyline wise, but it was the only thing I cared about gambling wise. I know everybody's getting hot about like, they're making it legal. They're making it legal. How are they going to, be able to do these things with these, with these predetermined outcomes? That's how when they make every single square think that they're going to get like a Cody Rhodes WrestleMania moment, and then the line is only sitting at -400 when it should be like -1200, right, dude? I'm a max bet it. I'm going to put the 100 that they allow me to put on it at plus 285 on the tribal chief because he is the head of the table. We all know this. And dude, with Vince back, you had to know he was going to fuck these people. And he had a chance to prove too, just on like the fourth dimensional chess here, is like, now you just proved that anything can happen on the biggest stage of them all, in the main event of WrestleMania, that everybody thought was going one way. And like, you're going to make this legal gambling wise, and it's going to leave a little bit of doubt in everybody's head from here on out. And it showed the right thing they needed to show to the right people, that they can keep something like that hush hush too. So like, yeah, Vince is back, baby. Oh, dude, he gave it to the Rhodes family, dude. Raw dog. Put him in front row and said, sit here and take it. When do you think Brandy found out? Because like, she had a little boo-boo job face, it looked like, in one of the spots where I was like, oh, she got a little boo-boo job face on. I feel like Cody might really be going down here. She can't like kayfabe at all at the moment. Like, oh, so good, dude. So good. Like, dude, Vince McMahon, can you, like, how much he was laughing in Gorilla, probably? I wish I could have been in Gorilla for that moment where he's just like, ha, got him.
That's why he's got that mustache. So he can do the old Snidely thing at the end, the old villain twist. MSG, you look like you want to jump in on this, buddy.
The mustache, for sure.
Oh, so, I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, going into it, I thought Cody was going to lose just because they haven't done enough to build up this story. Finish the story. What story? There's been like 4 weeks of you just kind of coming out, going back and forth. It's not really any story. You were out for 8 months. Okay. You didn't really, so everything got put on hold. I didn't really feel a big story going into it. If anything, I thought the Sami Zayn stuff was the bigger story.
That was the story for sure.
And had Cody not come back, that probably would have been our main event.
But this Cody story goes back to what the 80s in Madison Square Garden when Dusty had this title taken from him.
The grandson of a plumber, damn it.
Casual viewers don't care because you didn't show us any of that over the last 4 weeks.
They were talking about all that, and it's one of the greatest stories here. It goes back to 2006 where Cody's sitting at OVW and he's in a car with Timmy Baltimore. They did hit on some of that.
That wasn't shown on TV. That was nothing. None of this was shown on TV. This was all all it was talk between Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes. There was no story. That was my opinion. Secondly, they're not going to let the guy who left and built a company come back and roughshod all the way to WrestleMania. Are you serious? You think they're going to let Cody Rhodes come back and do that? You think Triple H didn't forget about him smashing his hammer? Come on, man. It is all calculated. But I did have a question I thought about as we were getting ready to prepare. Do you think maybe Friday, Saturday, they might have put Cody over, but then maybe the agreement came together for this buyout and they thought, we can't put it on Cody yet because Roman Reigns is our guy. He's the face, and we need that guy heading into this merger.
I think that has a lot to do with it. 100% MSG. You hit the nail on the head, man, for sure.
Well, go ahead, elaborate on your thoughts on the match there, the decision there, Jimmy, and the aftermath is MSG kind of alludes to, maybe the sale.
No, he's spot on. I think that has all to do with it. And honestly, I knew the minute Roman Reigns and his entrance, with his entrance when he came out, I knew right then and there Cody ain't winning. There's just no chance. I mean, he felt like literally the boss of bosses in a video game walking out like that. I mean, seriously, that was boss shit. No shit, man. Just the way he came out with that swag. And unfortunately for Cody, man, I think they might have done the switch pretty sort of last minute. Because honestly, they would have sold him that WWE Championship when he first re-signed with WWE, surely, right? That's what he wanted. And like Mike says, I mean, Triple H even alluded to it at the end of the show, at the press conference, when they asked him about why Cody didn't go over. He said, it's professional wrestling. The story doesn't end. You know what I'm saying? It just goes on and whatnot, with a smile on his face. I mean, he knew what he was doing. I mean, but other than that, the match was all right. Again, but one too many near finishes, as per usual. How many crossroads did he do, dude? I mean, 6 crossroads plus a stunner plus a haluva kick, and Roman was still the boss and kicking out of everything, man. I mean, seriously. And the finish though, with Solo when he got told to go back to the back, and he came out with a hoodie like he's trying to hide, was kind of silly, but still, I mean, I kind of laughed when Roman won though. That's for sure.
Oh, I cheered. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy, man.
Vet,
for sure.
Vet, your take here on this go home.
Well, first let me say,
was it the right call? Why did they make the call?
Okay, first let me say I'm no fan of Cody, and it brings joy to me that that the villains win again. I do like that. However, personally, I think it was wrong, and here's why. If they had not hot-shotted the Sami Zayn thing the way they did, and he was still part of the bloodline, and we were getting to enjoy that interaction and stuff all through this, and if the Usos they wouldn't have even been in a position to have to face Kevin Owens or lose any championships had that not happened. Then I can see you tell the same story with Cody, exactly the same, and then he ends up losing and it deflates everybody. Here's the issue. Cody is only going to work as a babyface for a limited amount of time. And that amount of time is going to be up. They Lex Lugered him here, basically, is what happened. You will never get anybody as interested in fucking Cody as they were able to do. He pulled off his part magnificently. They made him seem like he should be somebody that should beat Roman Reigns, even if he doesn't. They did things with Cody that no one thought possible with Cody. This is the time to pull the trigger. The idea of saying like Cody can't be the face of the company or whatever because of this merger, or like it even matters who has 2 fake wrestling belts. That has nothing to do with anything. Roman will be the guy regardless of what the finish is in your wrestling match, okay? Roman will always be the guy. But you have to get the max value out of the baby face that you made, and you got to do it now. You got to end the bloodline now. Had you not pulled the trigger on Sami and kept him a heel with the bloodline over a longer period of time so that maybe you could drag this out for another 6 months or even another year, then this ending makes sense. There will never be anybody as over again as Cody was on this night, and they're not going to be able to build anybody up. I don't have the faith that they can. They can, but will they? That's the question. I don't think they will. They don't have a track record. They can prove me wrong, but just the way they laid out the story leading up to this, I think they made the wrong decision. They shouldn't have done what they did to get here if they wanted Roman to go over. And the only reason I would think that you would have the Usos lose the championships is to like try to swerve people, like you're almost tipping your hand too much with Cody coming out and kissing the wife and all this other stuff. Usos lost, all this other stuff. Like it's you set that up, and I think they only did that so it wouldn't seem so obvious. Because if the Usos won, then there's no way anybody would think Cody was gonna win.
Yeah, but Cody's demeanor looked sort of disheveled coming out, though. Don't you think
job face.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
He did.
And
he really looked.
dude,
the energy was sucked right out of him.
I'm telling you right now, like, dude, if I could ever fuck with my enemies the way Vince McMahon just fucked with the Rhodes family, like, that was Scott Tenorman level, right, MSG? Like, he made him eat the fucking chili with his fucking dead dad in it.
Yeah,
Like, he fucked him right in front of the whole world, and I, like, absolutely love that. And then, like, the only thing I could see, two things that would do bigger business and I think could be bigger than Cody on that night is, one, you play the long game that everybody wants with The Rock, and you get him back here by SummerSlam, and he's the one that takes over and brings, you know, everything.
Oh,
that, like,
please.
dude,
The Rock at SummerSlam? If he wouldn't show up for this, he ain't showing up for no shitty SummerSlam.
Well, I mean, he gets paid a lot more to do movies. Whatever he's filming right now, I'm sure he's making 10 times whatever he'd have to do to. Every time he wrestles, he has to get.
Yeah, what is that, by the way? What is he filming right now?
I do want to kind of close on that, Harley. You'd mentioned, you know, and that's the question I want to close, and we'll wrap things up, get out of here. But you've answered, you know, that for your viewpoint. What is next? I mean, where do you go here? He's already run the cycle in the presser. Heyman rambles off all these people that he's run through. Well, we got Cena, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre. Now we've got Cody, Sammy, Kevin Owens. Where do we go? Do we recycle this thing? As you said, you know, a lot of people out there, it's got to be Rock at some point, but we got a lot of stopgap to get between here and SummerSlam. So you got Rock, Hart, and Ed. A lot of people tend to agree. Jimmy T, do you got maybe an outside the box pick, something they could do here?
Not really, because they haven't really built anybody for that spot. So it's going to be interesting. Well, there is WrestleMania Backlash coming up, right? But I doubt they'll pull the trigger there. What about, say, Money in the Bank? Could you sort of put Cody over? Could we get it?
That's how
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling too. So I think maybe by Money in the Bank, it's in London. You know, it's overseas. They might want to do something big. I can see Cody sort of getting his comeuppance there, but
that's so anticlimactic compared to this, though.
Oh, absolutely, it is. But it's Cody.
They're not gonna. I'm telling you guys. You guys in the chat, I know you don't get it, but I'm just telling you, like, they Lex Lugered this fucking kid. So now they're going to turn him heel because people are going to lose faith in him. They're going to turn him heel, and we're never going to get the payoff, which is fine with me. Again, I'm fine with that. Fuck Cody. I don't give a shit if he gets fired tomorrow, but I'm just saying they're the ones who built this up. And I don't think they can pay it off with anyone else. I don't think they're going to get anybody else up to this level.
Well,
and I don't think The Rock is gonna come in and be the one.
I think it's a perfect analogy.
If The Rock comes in, Roman's going over. I'm telling you that. Rock is not gonna go over on Roman. That's not happening.
And which would be the right thing to do anyway, even if they do go there.
So I agree with Jimmy in regards to the Money in the Bank, because there was an interview over the weekend where Cody talked about him and his professional rivalry with Seth Rollins. And he said he's kind of envious of Seth Rollins, who got to win the Money in the Bank and cash in and pull off the biggest heist of wrestling history. So with Harnett mentioning The Rock, what if you have The Rock beat Roman at SummerSlam and you have Cody cash in on The Rock? That way Cody never actually
beat The Rock. Yeah, you have Roman beat The Rock, and then he cashes in.
Or either or, yeah. But you just have Cody cash in that night and pull off his version of the biggest heist. That's the only. That's what I think.
I agree 100% with Vet saying. I don't think there is any more Cody.
I'm just saying. I think
they've killed him. They have killed him.
I think it was intentional. I think they submarined him on purpose. I think they set him up the whole time, knowing that they were going to pull the fucking Jenga blocks on him here at the biggest stage possible.
Yes, at their own expense, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
ain't
they
give a
didn't give a
shit.
fuck. They're selling the.
They'll
company
cut
for
off
more
their
money than
nose
they
to
ever
spite their
thought.
face. That's what they've done. That's why.
Absolutely.
And somehow
On the
still got
same night.
9.3 billion.
Yeah, on the same night they just got 9.3 billion. You're gonna tell them they don't know what they're doing? Like, dude, everybody knows how spiteful these people are. Everybody knows how fucking like pieces of shit. They are real pieces of shit, man.
Absolutely.
They're real pieces of
Pieces of
shit. And if
shit.
you underestimate how like big of a piece of shit Vince McMahon can be, oh my god, dude. And that whole family, Triple H, fuck Triple H. I hope he hears this. Fuck him. I ever see him, I'm spitting in his fucking face. I know what you did, and you're a fucking scumbag. I hate you. I'm fucking, if I ever see you, I'm spitting in your face. I'll slap you in your face. I'll fucking pull my fucking mushroom head out and stamp it on your fucking face. And there ain't a damn thing you can fucking do about it, son. Don't you fucking forget it. I swear to God, I swear, I hope I fucking cross fucking paths with that one motherfucker. He's a gutless fucking spineless fucking prick, dude. And in the position he's in, the fucking person he likes to play on fucking TV, for him to fucking drop the ball on a fucking person that fucking means something to me and means something to a lot of people and should mean something to a lot of people in this fucking sport. Fuck him. And if I ever see him, it's fucking on site, motherfucker. I don't care how old he is when I see him either. It's on fucking site. Period. Save that. Clip it.
Yeah.
Fucking. And
Yeah,
let him know when
Kaz,
the
get
headline
on that.
hits.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah, it's clip it.
Fuck you, Triple H. You fucking little bitch, dude. Fuck you. I hope fucking just keep that fucking heart running long enough for me to see you, you fucking piece of trash.
Do you? I mean, no. I was going to ask just a follow up. I mean, The Rock is under WME, right? Agency, which is all under the same company now. I think. I mean, so I mean, I wouldn't. There wouldn't be a reason why The Rock wouldn't work with them now in the future, right? I mean, if they're going to be conglomerated.
I think The Rock has his own. I think he might be under his own
I
thing
think
now.
Josh is right. He is under his own,
So he's under his own. Yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I thought maybe they were all an umbrella or something like
but
that.
they all are, dude. Like CAA, all those fucking agencies out there.
And
They're
you
all
All right,
can't.
Joe, we're getting up against it. We're up against it. We covered all. We're
I know,
getting
I
ready
just
to
dropped
tune
bombs.
in tonight to Raw. You dropping bombs, atomic bombs here. Sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Heartnet's Hate for the H. Brought to you by Preparation H. It's what the sponsorship is. Jimmy T, hit them plugs real quick.
Well, you can find me at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com. If you want to follow me, you can at DJ MassFX and also at the PWC Network on Twitter. Like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com, where you can find all our shows also. And Hamin Media Group.podbean.com, where you can find all our affiliate shows. And that's about it.
But
Opinion Haver at all your favorite social media platforms every Wednesday. Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And Impact Attack later tonight, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Brandon and I will talk about Impact and Multiverse United. So check that out. And check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers every Friday, live Q&A. And everybody supports Stevie Richards.
hey, also you guys got Mondo on this week, right?
Yes.
On,
I'm
Next
trying to
Level?
double confirm that, but he has been booked. So I'll put it that way.
Very
You
nice,
know
very
wrestlers.
So we'll tune into that one. Florida Man, without death threats or anything, where the hell can we just follow you for all your happy
Kill
times?
That guy, dude. He's so fucked. You don't even realize it yet, but he is so fucked. But yeah, besides that, I mean, go watch The Vet. Like, he knows what he's talking about. Listen to Jimmy. He knows what he's talking about. Go, if you like South Park, go listen to MSG. He knows what he's talking about. Otherwise, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Well,
Fuck Triple H.
MSG, it's been a while since you got to say goodbye on a wrestling platform, man.
Yeah, that's right. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Matthew_Schaffer. Schaffer. You can follow my podcast at South Park Pod on all podcast outlets. Over 170 reviews. The first 11 season reviews are up. We drop a brand new podcast every Wednesday morning and shortly in video format on YouTube. Go ahead and check out also Connecting People Through Wrestling. That's my boy Chris Parkhurst, the sign guy you see all over the TV shows and stuff like that. So just use the hashtag Connecting People Through Wrestling anytime you're out at an event. And one more thing, because you mentioned Rip Rogers, check out Derby City Championship Wrestling, where he's working with there. My co-host Dane Becker is also the director for Derby City Championship Wrestling in Memphis, where Rip Rogers is working with him as well. So that's all I got.
Hey, the continued HMD tie-in. You got your buddy there. Rip is there. Got phone conversation with him last night. He's just got signed on to work some gigs there. The Beast Ted McNaylor is going to be with Derby City Wrestling. So looking forward to checking
Ted
out
and
all
my
that
co-host.
great content.
My co-host are best friends, so yeah, that's fine. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, very, very nice. There we go. The HMG tie-ins continue to rock and roll. But again, thanks to everybody for joining us here. Special start time. Hey, if you like this afternoon start time, let it be heard. Let it be heard. I don't think it's going to do anything. So we'll be back here next week at 8:30. Fucking getting up so damn early. I hate it, but hey, it was fun this afternoon. That's the Hamin and his travels back home. He's out enjoying himself on the beach right now, I'm sure, with a cocktail in hand, lobster tail by his side. But again, thanks everybody joining us here Monday at Locker Room. Make sure you follow the Hamin Media Group across all social media platforms at the Hamin Media Group.
On site. On site.
On site. On site. It's on.